Hey friends, I'm gonna be photobombed during this entire video. We're on a road trip, just like a little day trip. I just realized that with every place shut down, I'm not going to have a place to go to the bathroom. And I just finished my first container of water and started my second, so this is fun. And we are an hour and 44 minutes from our destination, so keep you updated on that. So it's like their third week in quarantine, right?
Feels like it.
Or it'll be starting our third week. I don't know. The days are all blending together. So we had each of the boys share what has been really great about being in quarantine and what has also been hard. And so I think we're going to just kind of reflect and do the same. It has been so nice for me to have Anthony at home. Mondays have been really tough this semester because he has had counseling. He leaves the house early and then does counseling sessions all day, and then he would get home at like 4:45 and then have a 6 o'clock class. So he still does all of that, but now it's all from our bedroom. So in between sessions, he gets to come out and we get to have lunch together, and then we get to have like dinner together in between counseling and his class. So that's been really nice. He can even, he's also like held veto during classes, which has been nice and fun for all of his classmates because they all get to go crazy over the baby in Zoom. So that's actually been super helpful, especially with the challenge of adding quarantine schooling to this. I was calling it homeschooling and then saw this awesome meme that's like, this is not homeschooling. Homeschooling, you go to museums and meet up with friends and, you know, have all this interaction, and we are not. So this is quarantine schooling, and it's so far been going really well. Ryla's been rocking it, and we realized after the first week that we were actually giving him a lot more work than what most kids were doing, and he was still rocking it. So we've cut back a little bit, but it's actually been going really well. Anthony's been doing the lesson plans at night, and then we've been in contact with his teacher for him to do those, like his assignments too, and it's been good. It's just, the hardest thing is not being able to hang out with friends and talk with friends, and I mean, they can talk, but they haven't really set up like Zoom meetings and stuff. I think everyone is just still like figuring out their own new normal for the time being. So, but that's been my biggest blessing, is like how many friends joined the Marco Polo, like started using the Marco Polo app, and we send each other videos about what's going on in our lives. And I have like a group of seminary wives on there who we all, we can't see each other like we used to all the time, but we can stay in contact. So it's kind of cool because I feel like I actually see more glimpses into their daily life for the ones that I didn't know maybe quite as well. We get to share, what's working for us, what's not working in this time, and challenges, and just like yeah, it's been really cool. And then also family and friends who aren't close. So yeah, I've enjoyed that. It's also kind of a good excuse to like check up on people that maybe, I haven't been in contact with for a while, but I miss. So it's just been nice. Those are my big things. I'm gonna turn this to Anthony, who's gonna share his.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I thinking about how this has all been going. I think, just like Sarah said, the beautiful thing for me is that I get to see the family like a lot more. The other day, we were talking about the Ark and like when the Israelites were following the Ark or the whirlwind, or like whatever presence of God that we followed, and that sometimes it didn't move, and so the Israelites didn't move either. The Ark, quote unquote, is certainly at our house right now. We're not moving around as much. Well, I'm in a car driving, so I guess this is really odd to say, but we're not moving around as much as we normally do.
Keep right onto Middlesex Street, then take a slight left turn onto Groton Road.
And it's been really good. It's been such a blessing to just be with family more often, to like have time to like hold Vito during class, or to have Rocco just sit in my lap during class. So it's been really beautiful and just kind of awesome. But I would say, like, my big challenge is I'm certainly realizing more and more how much I don't like technology, and how much virtual spaces are not really my thing. I'm going to write a book probably called Virtual Fatigue, because it's something I'm already feeling, with all these Zoom meetings and seeing my clients via video chat screens, and then FaceTiming everybody. It's just...
In 10 miles, turn right onto Main Street.
It's not my thing. I'm sure some of you are like nodding your heads like, no, this is not our thing, so I'm sure I'm not alone in that. But it's been... I'm an extrovert, and so being around people usually gives me a lot of energy, but these virtual spaces are actually very draining for me. Especially, I would say the virtual classroom is very draining. It's there's not as much interaction. It's very much like fully lecture-based classes now. And so you just listen to someone talk for 3 hours. It's just not what I would want for education for anybody, really. So it's been tough. Also, because of just the nature of being home all the time, I think it's been a lot harder to get work done. And so I'm actually pretty far behind on getting things done. Not so much that I'm worried that it won't get done, but it's definitely a new space to be looking at my plan or my organizer and being like, oh gosh, I'm not actually getting any of this done. So that's been kind of tough. But I do think for sure that God's at work in all of this, and that really this time with family has been so meaningful and really great. Doing the homeschooling with Rilo, it's just been fun to develop curriculum, and kind of use what his teacher is giving us, but then also kind of do some of our own things too. It's been just really cool, and it helps us to be more invested in what he's learning too. So it's just a win-win situation. My prayers right now is just that this will end quickly, because I do think, for all of us, we're just missing our friends, we're missing our people, just missing social spaces. I think we're all going to give a ton of hugs when this is over. Lots of hugging.
This morning someone had shared Oswald, it's my utmost for his highest for April 1st, and I have like 3 copies of my utmost for his highest on. I have like a journal copy and then the small copy, and I think I gave actually my 3rd copy away, but I've never read it regularly. I've never like been in a pattern of reading it daily, but when I think like I need something, I go to it. And so it might only be seriously like 6 times a year that I grab that and I flip to the day. But every single time that I do, it is spot on. And someone shared today's, and I'm just going to read a little clip of it because it was so like straight to the heart. He says, beware. Oh, by the way, this is taken from Romans 8, and he used verses 27 and 36.
I thought it was 37 and 24.
Well, he's probably right, but anyway, it says, beware. We ended up reading the entire chapter of Romans 8 because it was so good. Beware of getting ahead of God by your very desire to do his will. We run ahead of him in 1,001 activities, becoming so burdened with people and problems that we don't worship God and we fail to intercede. If a burden and its resulting pressure come upon us while we are not in an attitude of worship, it will only produce a hardness towards God and despair in our own souls. God continually introduces us to people in whom we have no interest, and unless we are worshiping God, the natural tendency is to be heartless towards them. We give them a quick scripture, like jabbing them with a spear, or leave them with a hurried, uncaring word of counsel before we go. A heartless Christian must be a terrible grief to our Lord. So it just made me reflect on how I've been handling this whole thing, and I can definitely not say that my heart has been in a state of worship. And I can definitely say that I have been hit with some big waves of fear and anxiety through this. And this was just like and questions of like, why, And it's funny how when your heart is in a state of worship, you don't question why, because you already have answers. And it might not be like the answers of why this is happening, but you have your rock to cling to, and you know that you don't actually need those answers. And so just having that to cling to, of like my heart being in a state of worship, like I needed to be reminded of like what was missing. So I just hope that that's an encouragement for you guys as you are all also quarantined. Did you want to add anything?
That was perfect, babe.
Cool. Okay, so we love you all, and we hope that you guys are doing well, being locked up and safe. And as always, let us know how we can pray for you.
Is it going?
It's going.
Oh, hello. I just ate watermelon. It did taste good. So 3 things that were fun, or 3 things that were good about the quarantine is I didn't have to go to school as much. And
Or at all.
yeah, I know. And I also can do schoolwork way earlier, and I can have recess for unlimited. And 2 things I didn't really like about the quarantine is I couldn't really play with my friends here because they were quarantining, I guess. And I could only, also I didn't like that I couldn't see my friends at school, so I liked not going to school, but I also liked school, so yeah. And those were the 5 things that I thought about the quarantine.
All right, Rocco, what's one thing that you're thankful for?
Jude one?
No, that's the one that you said made you sad. Do you want to share that one first?
Yeah.
All right, what's something that made you sad since the quarantine?
Not getting to play with you.
Yeah, and then what's something that's happy? Rilo, stop. What's something that made you happy?
That I get to stay with Vital.
Yeah, that Rilo's home every single day.